Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and seekers of knowledge, today we gather to explore a topic of profound significance, one that touches the heart of society, faith, and human dignity. The status of women in Islam is not merely a question of social norms or cultural traditions. It is a reflection of divine wisdom, justice, and equality. In a world where misconceptions often cloud understanding, it is our duty to uncover the truth, to honor the rights, responsibilities, and immense value that women hold in Islam. Through clarity, awareness, and action, we can transform lives, uplift communities, and build a society that thrives on respect, balance, and harmony. Today, I will guide you through 6 powerful steps that illuminate the true status and position of women in Islam, steps that empower, educate, and inspire. When we speak of the status of women in Islam, the very first and most fundamental principle we must understand is that Islam recognizes the inherent dignity and equality of women as human beings. From the very beginning, the Qur'an emphasizes that men and women are equal in the sight of Allah in terms of their moral responsibility, spiritual potential, and accountability. The Holy Qur'an clearly states, indeed, the most noble of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous of you, Qur'an 4:9-13. Notice that in this verse, Allah does not differentiate between men and women in the pursuit of nobility and righteousness. It is not gender, wealth, social status, or physical strength that determines a person's value, but their piety, good conduct, and consciousness of Allah. The recognition of equality in Islam is revolutionary, particularly considering the historical context in which the religion emerged. In the 7th century Arabian Peninsula, women were often treated as property, denied inheritance, and excluded from public life. Islam came as a transformative force, declaring that women are not inferior beings, but full human beings with rights, dignity, and honor. This was not just a social reform, but a divine decree. Women were given the right to own property, to inherit wealth, and to participate in society in ways that were unprecedented at the time. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, emphasized this repeatedly, saying, "The best of you are those who are best to their wives." This profound statement is not merely about kindness within marriage. It reflects the broader principle that women must be treated with respect, dignity, and honor in all areas of life. Furthermore, Islam recognizes the intellectual and spiritual equality of women. Women are encouraged to seek knowledge, engage in intellectual discourse, and contribute to the moral and cultural development of society. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Seeking knowledge is an obligation upon every Muslim, male and female." This command dismantles any notion of gender-based intellectual hierarchy. In Islam, a woman has the same potential as a man to attain spiritual excellence, to earn divine rewards, and to become a source of guidance and inspiration for others. The Qur'an celebrates the virtues of both men and women, highlighting their shared capacity for faith, moral excellence, and righteous action. The dignity of women in Islam is also evident in the respect accorded to their personal autonomy and individuality. A woman is not defined solely by her relationships to men, whether as a daughter, sister, wife, or mother, but as a complete individual with her own rights, choices, and responsibilities. She is entitled to make decisions regarding her education, career, marriage, and personal development. Consent is a crucial principle in Islamic law, particularly in marriage, where a woman's approval is required for the union to be valid. This reflects Islam's recognition of women as independent, dignified beings capable of making thoughtful and responsible choices. Moreover, Islam establishes moral and social boundaries to protect the dignity of women. The principles of modesty, respect, and ethical conduct are not meant to oppress women, but to safeguard their honor and integrity. Islam teaches that women have the right to live with dignity, free from exploitation, harassment, or injustice. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Fear Allah regarding women, for you have taken them with the trust of Allah." This highlights that women are entrusted to society and men are accountable for treating them with justice and respect. The recognition of women's dignity is also evident in the emphasis Islam places on women's contributions to family, society, and humanity at large. Women are celebrated as mothers, nurturers, educators, and spiritual guides. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Paradise lies at the feet of your mother," highlighting the profound value and honor of the maternal role. But this does not confine women to a single role. It elevates all roles women play, from raising righteous children to engaging in community service, scholarship, and leadership. Each role is equally valuable, and every contribution carries significance in the eyes of Allah. Understanding this first step, the recognition of inherent dignity and equality, is critical because it lays the foundation for all other rights, responsibilities, and steps we will discuss. If a society fails to recognize the intrinsic worth of women, no amount of legal reform or social programs can truly empower them. Islam's approach, however, is holistic. It begins with the acknowledgement that women are full human beings, equal in value, with the right to honor, respect, and opportunity. In conclusion, the first powerful step toward understanding the status of women in Islam is to internalize this principle of inherent dignity and equality. It is not a superficial equality based on appearances or legal formalities, but a profound, divinely ordained recognition of women's worth as human beings. Every spiritual act, every pursuit of knowledge, every effort to contribute to society, these are arenas in which women share equal potential and equal honor with men. By embracing this principle, we can challenge misconceptions, dispel injustice, and build a society that truly values and uplifts women, as Islam intended. Once we understand that women hold inherent dignity and equality in Islam, the next crucial step is to explore the rights that Islam explicitly grants women in every aspect of life, particularly in education, work, and social participation. Islam is a complete way of life, and it does not confine women to a single role or a narrow sphere. Rather, it empowers women to develop their potential, contribute meaningfully to society, and achieve personal and spiritual growth. Education is one of the most significant rights Islam grants to women. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, clearly stated, "Seeking knowledge is obligatory upon every Muslim, male and female." This statement underscores that women have equal access to education and intellectual development. From the earliest days of Islam, women pursued learning, memorized the Qur'an, and contributed to the preservation and dissemination of Islamic knowledge. For example, Aisha Ra, the wife of the Prophet, peace be upon him, was renowned for her knowledge of the Qur'an, Hadith, and Islamic jurisprudence, and she taught countless students. Her example demonstrates that Islam values the intellectual contributions of women and encourages them to be active participants in scholarship and critical thinking. Beyond education, Islam also grants women the right to work and earn a livelihood. A woman is not confined to her home unless she chooses that path voluntarily. She can pursue a profession, engage in trade, or contribute to the family's financial well-being. The Qur'an affirms this right by not imposing restrictions based on gender, but by focusing on moral conduct, competence, and responsibility. Throughout Islamic history, women have played vital roles in business, healthcare, teaching, and social services. Khadija Ra, the first wife of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was a successful businesswoman who independently managed her trade and wealth. Her example illustrates that Islam encourages women to utilize their skills, talents, and resources for personal development and societal benefit. Social participation is another area where women have been granted rights in Islam. Women are not meant to be passive or excluded from the moral, cultural, and political life of their communities. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, emphasized women's engagement in public matters, particularly when their involvement could benefit the community. Women participated in early Islamic governance, supported social justice, and contributed to charitable efforts. They were advisors, educators, and caretakers of social cohesion. Islam recognizes that a society flourishes when both men and women actively contribute, using their unique perspectives, talents, and energies to serve humanity. In Islam, the rights of women in education, work, and social participation are also linked with responsibility and ethical conduct. Women are expected to exercise these rights with dignity, morality, and awareness of their role in upholding social harmony and family values. This balance ensures that women are free to pursue their ambitions without compromising their spiritual or moral commitments. Islamic law provides guidelines, not limitations, emphasizing that empowerment and responsibility go hand in hand. It is also important to recognize that granting women these rights was a revolutionary step in a historical context where women's roles were severely restricted. Islam dismantled deeply rooted prejudices and created a framework for social justice, equality, and human dignity. These rights are not privileges to be granted or revoked by societal norms. They are divine entitlements that every woman is entitled to exercise fully and confidently. Understanding this step is crucial because when women are educated, gain financial independence, and participate in society, they contribute to the overall development and moral progress of the community. Empowered women become agents of change, mentors, and role models, raising informed, ethical, and spiritually aware future generations. This is why Islam places immense importance on ensuring women's rights in these areas. They are not merely personal benefits, but foundations for a strong, balanced, and prosperous society. In conclusion, the second powerful step toward understanding the status of women in Islam is recognizing their rights in education, work, and social participation. Islam does not restrict women to domestic roles or passive existence. It encourages them to seek knowledge, excel in their professions, and actively contribute to society while maintaining their moral and spiritual integrity. By embracing and promoting these rights, we honor the true vision of Islam and create a society where women thrive, contribute, and inspire positive change in every sphere of life. As we move forward in understanding the powerful status of women in Islam, the third step focuses on the spiritual significance of women and the central role they play in nurturing faith, not just within their families but across society. In Islam, women are not seen merely as companions, caretakers, or social contributors. They are spiritually equal partners in faith, endowed with the same capacity for devotion, piety, and moral influence as men. Recognizing this spiritual dimension is vital because it elevates women beyond physical or social roles, highlighting their profound impact on the ethical and spiritual fabric of the community. From the very beginning, Islam emphasized that both men and women are accountable to Allah for their actions and are equally capable of attaining divine rewards. The Qur'an states, indeed, the Muslim men and Muslim women, the believing men and believing women, the obedient men and obedient women, the truthful men and truthful women. For them Allah has prepared forgiveness and a great reward. Qur'an 30:35. This verse makes it unequivocally clear that spiritual merit is not determined by gender, but by faith, devotion, and righteous deeds. Women have the same opportunity to earn Allah's pleasure, attain paradise, and achieve spiritual excellence as men do. One of the most significant aspects of women's spiritual role is their capacity to nurture faith within the family. Mothers, in particular, hold a position of immense spiritual responsibility. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, famously said, "Paradise lies at the feet of your mother." This statement is not merely symbolic. It reflects the truth that a mother's guidance, love, and moral teaching are pivotal in shaping righteous, ethical, and spiritually conscious children. Through their care, instruction, and example, women cultivate values such as honesty, compassion, patience, and devotion in the next generation. A woman's influence in this regard is profound, enduring, and far-reaching. Beyond the family, women also play a spiritual role in society at large. Women who embody faith, integrity, and ethical conduct serve as moral beacons, inspiring others to follow the path of righteousness. Throughout Islamic history, women have been scholars, teachers, philanthropists, and community leaders whose actions have reflected the ethical and spiritual ideals of Islam. Figures like Aisha Ra, who transmitted thousands of hadiths, and Fatima Ra, the daughter of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, exemplify women whose spiritual devotion and wisdom profoundly shaped the Muslim community. Their lives demonstrate that women are not just passive followers of faith, they are active contributors, capable of guiding, teaching, and uplifting entire communities. The spiritual significance of women in Islam also extends to their individual acts of worship and moral discipline. Women, like men, engage in prayer, fasting, charity, and reflection, cultivating a personal relationship with Allah. These acts of devotion are not secondary or lesser in any way. They are powerful means through which women develop resilience, wisdom, and inner strength. Islam encourages women to pursue spiritual knowledge, reflect on the Qur'an, and seek closeness to Allah, emphasizing that spiritual growth is a lifelong pursuit accessible to every believer, regardless of gender. Moreover, Islam recognizes the unique qualities women bring to spiritual life, qualities such as empathy, compassion, patience, and intuition, which enhance their ability to influence others positively. A woman's nurturing disposition often translates into moral leadership, community building, and social harmony. By embracing and cultivating these spiritual gifts, women fulfill a role that is both divinely honored and socially transformative. Understanding this aspect, a ritual dimension is critical, because society cannot thrive on knowledge, rights, and social participation alone. Without the moral and spiritual guidance women provide, families and communities risk losing balance, empathy, and ethical grounding. Islam's holistic approach ensures that women are not only empowered socially and intellectually, but are also recognized as indispensable pillars of spiritual guidance and moral integrity. In conclusion, the third powerful step toward understanding the status of women in Islam is recognizing their profound spiritual significance and their vital role in nurturing faith. Women are equal partners in devotion, accountable for their deeds, and capable of achieving the highest spiritual rewards. Their influence extends from the home to the wider community, shaping the moral and ethical character of society. By honoring and supporting women in their spiritual journeys, we uphold the vision of Islam, a vision where faith, knowledge, and ethical action intertwine to create a just, compassionate, and spiritually vibrant society. As we continue to explore the powerful status of women in Islam, the fourth step focuses on the protection of women's rights within the family and society. Islam does not merely acknowledge women's value, it actively safeguards their dignity, security, and well-being. From legal rights to social responsibilities, from family structures to public conduct, Islam establishes a framework that ensures women are respected, protected, and treated with fairness. Understanding this protection is essential, because true empowerment is impossible without safety, justice, and acknowledgement of rights. In the family, Islam recognizes the unique and vital role of women while emphasizing their protection. A woman is entitled to rights that ensure her security, comfort, and respect. For instance, she has the right to receive a proper marriage contract known as mahr, which is a financial gift given to her by her husband as a symbol of respect and responsibility. This right is hers alone, and it cannot be waived without her consent. Islam also guarantees a woman's right to her own property and wealth. She is not obligated to spend her own money on household expenses unless she chooses to do so. These provisions prevent exploitation and ensure that women maintain financial independence and security. Beyond financial protection, Islam emphasizes the emotional and psychological well-being of women. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "The best of you are those who are best to their wives." This statement is a powerful guideline for marital conduct, highlighting that women must be treated with kindness, respect, and compassion. Abuse, neglect, or injustice toward women is strictly prohibited in Islam, and men are morally and spiritually accountable for their treatment of women. This protective framework fosters healthy, balanced, and harmonious family relationships that benefit not only women but the entire household and society. Islam also addresses protection at the societal level. Women are entitled to live free from harassment, oppression, and discrimination. Islam establishes legal and ethical standards to ensure that women's rights are upheld in courts, workplaces, and public life. Crimes against women, including physical harm, slander, or exploitation, are strictly prohibited, and the perpetrators are held accountable under Islamic law. This approach creates a society where women can participate confidently in social, educational, and economic activities without fear of injustice. The protective measures in Islam are not meant to restrict women. Rather, they are intended to empower them within a safe and just environment. For example, the guidance on modesty, dress, and public conduct is designed to preserve dignity and prevent exploitation. These rules apply to both men and women, ensuring mutual respect and ethical interaction in all spheres of life. Far from being limitations, these protections provide women with the freedom to pursue education, careers, and social engagement while maintaining their honor and integrity. Historically, the protection of women's rights has also extended to leadership and decision-making. Women were consulted in matters of governance, social affairs, and community welfare during the time of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Their opinions were valued and their expertise recognized. This demonstrates that Islam's protection of women is comprehensive. It encompasses their rights, opportunities, and voices in every aspect of life, not just within the confines of the home. Understanding this step, the protection of women's rights, is critical for building a society that truly respects and uplifts women. When rights are protected, women can thrive, contribute to their families and communities, and fully realize their potential. Conversely, when these protections are ignored, injustice, inequality, and social imbalance emerge. Islam's framework ensures that women are not passive dependents but empowered individuals with clear rights, responsibilities, and safeguards. In conclusion, the fourth powerful step toward understanding the status of women in Islam is recognizing the protective framework that Islam establishes for them within family and society. Islam safeguards women's financial, emotional, and social rights, ensuring their dignity, security, and empowerment. By honoring these protections, we uphold the principles of justice, equality, and moral integrity that form the core of Islamic teachings. Protecting women is not only a religious obligation, it is a moral duty and a foundation for a harmonious, balanced, and prosperous society. As we continue uncovering the profound status of women in Islam, the fifth step is to draw inspiration from the examples of influential women in Islamic history. Their lives, achievements, and contributions provide concrete evidence of the high regard Islam holds for women and demonstrate how women have played pivotal roles in shaping faith, society, and culture. These women were not passive observers. They were active participants, leaders, educators, and trailblazers whose impact resonates across centuries. By reflecting on their examples, we can understand the true potential and honor that Islam grants to women. One of the most prominent figures is Khadija bint Khuwaylid, the first wife of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Khadija was a successful businesswoman who commanded respect for her intelligence, integrity, and entrepreneurial skills. Beyond her wealth and business acumen, Khadija was a pillar of emotional and spiritual support for the Prophet during the early challenging years of Islam. She exemplifies how a woman can wield influence through strength, wisdom, and unwavering faith, balancing professional achievements with moral and spiritual guidance. Her life teaches us that women's contributions extend beyond the household. They can shape history, lead communities, and support societal transformation. Another remarkable figure is Aisha bint Abi Bakr, the beloved wife of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and one of the greatest scholars in Islamic history. Aisha's intellect, memory, and understanding of the Qur'an and Hadith made her a source of guidance for thousands of companions and later generations. She narrated over 2,000 Hadiths, taught students, and actively participated in important political and social discussions. Aisha's life demonstrates that women can be central to knowledge, jurisprudence, and leadership in society. Her example shows that intellectual and spiritual excellence is not bound by gender, and Islam celebrates women who pursue scholarship and mentorship. We also have Fatima bint Muhammad, the daughter of the Prophet, whose life embodies piety, strength, and moral courage. Fatima's dedication to family, her compassion for the needy, and her unwavering faith set a standard of spiritual and social responsibility for all generations. She played a key role in preserving Islamic values within her household and influencing her community positively. Fatima's life highlights how women can lead through example, nurturing faith, ethics, and resilience, both within families and the broader society. In addition to these household figures, Islamic history is full of women who contributed to education, social welfare, and political leadership. Rufaida al-Aslamiyah, for instance, is recognized as the first female nurse in Islam, providing medical care during battles and training others to assist in healthcare. Her service shows that women were actively engaged in humanitarian efforts, saving lives and advancing societal well-being. Similarly, Nusayba bint Ka'ab, displayed extraordinary courage by participating in battles to defend Islam and protect her community, proving that women could combine bravery, moral conviction, and leadership. These historical examples illustrate that Islam provides women with opportunities to excel, lead, and inspire, whether through scholarship, spiritual guidance, business, healthcare, or social activism. Women were trusted with responsibility, respected for their contributions, and celebrated for their achievements. This is a clear reflection of the high status Islam confers on women, not as secondary participants, but as vital, influential members of society. The lives of these women also serve as motivational tools for contemporary society. They remind us that women today, just as in the past, can achieve remarkable success in every field while maintaining moral integrity and spiritual awareness. By following their examples, women can embrace education, leadership, and service to society, while men can learn to respect, support, and uplift their female counterparts. In conclusion, the fifth powerful step toward understanding the status of women in Islam is to study and draw inspiration from the influential women of Islamic history. Khadija, Aisha, Fatima, and countless others exemplify courage, intelligence, spiritual excellence, and societal contribution. Their lives provide a blueprint for honoring women's potential, respecting their rights, and encouraging their active participation in all aspects of life. Islam recognizes that empowering women and celebrating their achievements is not just beneficial. It is essential for the moral, social, and spiritual progress of humanity as we reach the final step in understanding the status of women in Islam. It is essential to move from theory and historical examples to action. Recognizing the dignity, rights, spiritual significance, and historical contributions of women is invaluable. But the real impact comes when these principles are applied in our modern world. The sixth step focuses on practical measures to uphold and promote women's status today, ensuring that the vision of Islam is fully realized in contemporary society. The first practical step is education and awareness. Knowledge is the foundation of empowerment, and Islam places a high value on it for both men and women. Women should be encouraged to pursue education in all fields, from sciences and technology to arts, leadership, and religious studies. Likewise, society must be educated about women's rights in Islam to counter misconceptions and cultural biases that may limit women's opportunities. Awareness programs, workshops, and campaigns that highlight the Quranic and prophetic teachings regarding women can empower both genders to respect and uplift women in all spheres. The second step is economic empowerment and professional inclusion. Women must have opportunities to contribute to the workforce and society without discrimination or barriers. Policies and initiatives that support women in entrepreneurship, leadership, and skilled professions are critical. Islam has historically celebrated women like Khadija Ra, who excelled in business, showing that women's participation in the economy is not only permissible but encouraged. Financial independence strengthens women's confidence, protects their rights, and enables them to contribute meaningfully to society. The third step is legal protection and advocacy. While Islamic law already provides comprehensive protections for women, enforcement in contemporary society is sometimes inconsistent due to cultural practices or societal neglect. Governments, institutions, and communities must ensure that women's rights, such as inheritance, consent in marriage, and protection against harassment, are upheld. Legal literacy programs can educate women about their rights under Islamic and civil law, enabling them to assert these rights confidently and safely. The fourth step is spiritual and moral support. Women's spiritual growth is just as important as social and professional advancement. Communities should encourage women to engage in religious practices, study the Qur'an, and participate in spiritual leadership roles. Men, families, and community leaders should support women's moral and spiritual endeavors, recognizing that a spiritually strong woman contributes to a morally strong society. By nurturing women's faith and ethical development, we create a foundation for balanced, virtuous communities. The fifth step is role modeling and mentorship. Influential women, both historical and contemporary, can inspire younger generations to pursue excellence. Communities should highlight the achievements of women in education, science, arts, social work, and leadership, providing role models for girls and young women. Mentorship programs, career guidance, and recognition of women's achievements can motivate them to reach their full potential while reinforcing societal respect for their contributions. Finally, the sixth step is promoting mutual respect and equality in everyday interactions. Empowering women is not only about rights or policies, it is about changing mindsets. Families, workplaces, and communities must cultivate an environment where women are treated with respect, valued for their opinions, and given equal opportunities to contribute. Islam teaches mutual respect between men and women, emphasizing cooperation, fairness, and justice. By applying these principles in daily life, we create a society where women can thrive naturally and fully. In conclusion, the sixth powerful step toward understanding the status of women in Islam is taking concrete actions to uphold and promote their rights, dignity, and potential in contemporary times. Education, economic empowerment, legal protection, spiritual growth, mentorship, and mutual respect are practical avenues to bring Islamic principles to life. When we actively implement these steps, we honor the vision of Islam, a vision where women are respected, empowered, and celebrated as equal partners in faith, society, and humanity. By doing so, we not only uplift women, but also strengthen families, communities, and nations, creating a world where justice, compassion, and righteousness flourish.